Excuse me, had the mic muted there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tarot Thursday session with Psychic Marin, where you can get another daily dose of tarot and learn more about the cards in this friendly and interactive live stream that we like to host every month or so. Now, I guess this month we hosted at the end of the month because we wanted to get closer to the thinning of the veil, which will be reaching its peak tomorrow. But for today's lesson, Psychic Marin, if you want to take it away before, or actually, let me give a quick layout of how today's stream will be conducted, where we will first start off with Psychic Marin's tarot-focused lesson, where we can ask some questions about the cards that Marin will be focusing on today and some of the themes that Marin will be focusing on today. And then later in the live stream, we'll have some time for some general card pulls as well. So make sure you save those questions then, because we'll have some time a little bit later in the live stream for us to get into those general questions. But if you have any questions just about anything Marin talks about today, I'll make sure to put it up on the screen so that way we can have a really good and interactive conversation today. So go ahead and take it away, Marin.
Yeah. Thank you, Carson. And thank you, everybody that is joining us today on the eve of Samhain, also known as Halloween or Hallows Eve. So, we're going to be talking about a few things today. We're going to be talking about Halloween, Samhain, and the thinning of the veil and tarot. So, if, as Carson said, you have any questions about those subjects or just intuition, divination in general, feel free to pop a question in. Carson will get it over to me. But we're going to talk about how we can honor and celebrate this day and what it actually means. We're all familiar with the costumes and the jack-o'-lanterns and all of these symbols that we see associated with Halloween and Samhain. But do we really know what these actually mean? I'm going to tell you. So, starting with the word Samhain, what is that? You might not even recognize it based on how um, the pronunciation of it. Samhain. It's actually spelled Samhain, Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain. And what that means is it's a Celtic term for summer's end. So, what we're honoring right now and celebrating is the end of summer, the end of that abundant period of year where our garden has blessed us with all of the harvest. And as that summer is coming to an end and the winter is beginning, we are essentially going into the cave. That's a term you're going to hear a lot this time of year. So we are entering into this period of darkness where we're going to have to sit with all of this energy for several months to come. So we want to make sure that we've got a very clear conscience, that we are very blessed in this space that we are going to be withdrawing and introverting into the winter, confronting a lot of those shadow aspects of ourselves. So now's the time for us to really go into this hibernation with clarity and with intention and purpose. So we're going to honor and celebrate the end of that harvest season, and we're going to clean ourselves and have this mental state of clarity going into the winter. So, how do we do that? There are just 5 ways that I am going to discuss today, just 5 examples that we can celebrate to honor the essence of this time of year. There's hundreds of other ideas. I've just selected 5. And the first one is dream work. So, tonight, leading into Halloween, or even the 31st to the 1st, these are all very sacred days and an excellent time for you to dive into some dream work, dream manifestation. Something as simple as actually setting up your dreams, intentional dreaming. So, by setting your goal, what is it that I want to either manifest in my dreams, get clarity on in my dreams? Maybe there's an issue that I've been struggling with that I really want to understand and work through. Maybe there's some relationship difficulties. But as I'm going to sleep, I'm thinking consciously about what it is that I'm trying to resolve before falling asleep. So essentially, I'm dreaming myself into this mindset that I'm wanting to work through as I'm dreaming. Most importantly, when you first wake up, you want to capture that memory, if possible, either by setting an alarm and drifting out of sleep into that twilight phase into consciousness where you can kind of capture those dreams a little bit easier, or just naturally waking up and the first focus, first thought, what is it that you can remember? What answer or clarity did you get? So, dreaming, especially this time of year when that veil is the thinnest, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, this is a great time to dive into dream work. If you're new to this or wanting to deepen your dreams, this is an excellent period of time to do so. My next idea is, of course, divination. And this also is because that veil is the thinner, that this is a great time for you to embark on a divination exploration of a new tool. Maybe there's a new tarot deck that you want to consecrate this time of year, maybe a new pendulum, a scrying mirror, a crystal ball. Many tools that you can use to work on. So it might be something that you want to do today. Maybe spend a little time shopping, treat yourself to a special tool that you want to consecrate on Halloween and start to work with and use. I always suggest keeping a journal, not because I'm somebody that's going to burden you like an English teacher with lessons of homework and exercises, but something as simple as one little sentence. If you're doing a reading, if you're doing a pendulum divination, and just preserving that information, one brief little sentence, so you can go back and reflect on that with a journal. It's a very helpful tool just to enhance your learning. Also, I want to talk about cleansing. So the third is cleansing. We've got so far, we've got dream work, divination work, and some form of cleansing. Because as I mentioned, we're going to be entering into that cave and really aware of our energy. What is an exercise that we can do to really cleanse? And usually when we cleanse with one of the forms of the element: earth, air, fire, water, saging, bathing, purification by fire, and I'm gonna talk about fire and bonfire in just a second. But an element of fire, air, saging. Air often is associated with saging because it wafts up into the air. But some form of cleansing that we are doing outside of just the ordinary physical cleansing. This is the spiritual cleansing. Perhaps you want to Google or research cut and clear working. That's a very standard term for a removal of energy. If you are tied to a very unhealthy relationship that perhaps you finally shed this year, that you really need to make sure you were spiritually clear from before entering into this new period, cleansing energetically and spiritually with a cord cutting working will eliminate that connection to that partner or that toxic relationship. So, this is the time where you want to really deeply, deeply cleanse. I mentioned fire. So we're talking about fire in the sense of cleansing fire, but I'm going to talk a little bit about cleansing in the sense of celebratory fire, like a bonfire, where you can invite all your friends to come together. Perhaps you want to roast marshmallows and make s'mores, or have a big potluck gathering with loved ones, like an early kind of a Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving. That would be very appropriate for this time of year. But a little twist would be inviting those loved ones to come over to be able to purge and be able to offer something into that fire, kind of like Burning Man esque, where you are trying to release something that's no longer serving you. So, if you wanted to host a gathering or an event, and if you had the means to have a big, beautiful bonfire where you can all gather and put into that fire, whether it's maybe just on a written piece of paper what you're purging. Maybe it's a shirt that belonged to that old boyfriend that you want to get rid of, and you want to toss that into the fire. But what is symbolic of what you want to release is what's thrown into that fire. And then at the end is the harvest and the celebration and the passing of what they traditionally would call cakes and ale, where you celebrate after doing some form of release ritual. You now replenish with nutrients and substance. So, bonfires this time of year is an excellent way of gathering and also ceremonially cleansing. The last idea I have for you, and this is a biggie, is altar work. How could you even imagine Halloween and ancestral work and loved ones without the symbolism of that altar? So, altar work is where we recognize and give honor and appreciation to loved ones. We also invite them to come in to bless us. Because, as I said earlier, this is the time period where we are coming to the end of summer and the beginning of winter, which, if we go back to the Celtic calendar, that was New Year's. So the time period of October 31st to November 1st, that was New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, if we go back hundreds of years ago. And so this time period, in addition to just that essence of going into the cave, it was also the time period of it's a new year. So if you can kind of capture that essence of New Year's energy and how we celebrate it, paired with that depth of going into the cave, that's the sacredness of this time period that we're in right now. So if we are imagining it's as if we're in a new year starting on November 1st, what is it that we want to have bless us in that coming of the new year? Are there ancestors that have passed that we want to invite to bless us in the coming year? Because going back hundreds of years ago, we lived off the land and we lived with this energetic exchange with nature, and we prayed to our loved ones and asked them to bless our gardens, bless our harvest, because without that, we it was survival. So we would want that abundance and we would want that blessing. So what did we do? We carved pumpkins and gourds, and we invited loved ones to come in to bless us. We put candles in these gourds and pumpkins to light the way, to show loved ones, hey, we're here, come bless us. Or we carved jack-o'-lanterns and scarier creatures to ward off those scary negative energies that we didn't want coming in and haunting us. So that's this time period of year right now. We're trying to bring in loved ones, bring in positivity, bring in all this energy to ground us in that cave, restore us and prepare us for the new year ahead, and get rid of all of this negative energy that's no longer a part of us that we don't want to carry into this new year. So there's a lot of building and removing coming on in this period right now, which is really sacred. The thinning of the veil and this concept that we're going to hear so much of in the next couple days. In fact, on Instagram, there's a little promo video that they have of me discussing the thinning of the veil and what this really is. It's a collective concept of this energy. So, in comparison, if I were to talk about like the holiday spirit, we all celebrate different religions and different cultural backgrounds around December, and this concept of the holidays and this energy where everything's really festive, lights, colorful. We all have these different traditions. But aside from the doctrine and the dogma of all of these different religions, there is an essence of this energy that we all are feeling in that holiday spirit. Right now, we are in this essence of this feeling of the thinning of the veil, because as there are hundreds of different cultures and religions and beliefs where we pray to the other side and we pray to those loved ones to bless us. It's almost like that veil between the veil, the division between this realm and the afterlife and the spiritual realm is becoming more porous. It's like Swiss cheese when there are so many people connecting at this very narrow window this time of year, because traditionally this is what we have done for years and years and years. There is an energy that is consistent every time this time of year across the world, where people are connecting to loved ones on the other side. And all this energy is kind of similar to what you could feel during the holidays in Christmas time, festive lights, that energy where you just feel the holiday spirit. Well, right now, we feel the thinning of the veil. We feel that collective energy if we are really in tune, that there's so many people connecting with the other side, that it's thinning that veil. And it's actually a time where it's easier to connect with the other side. So that's why this is a great time for divination, dream work, and using this period to connect with ancestors, because your chances of feeling that connection, exploring this, learning to work with new tools, you're likely to have more success this time of year because you're already supported energetically with this type of ritual and connectivity. It's just naturally at your fingertips right now. So why not use this period to do a little bit of that deeper work or explore something new for the first time? This is that time period where we want to take advantage of this energy. Yes, the veil is accessible throughout all times of year, but if you've really wanted to connect with somebody, your odds of having that successful experience this time of year are a little greater. So if you need help with this, feel free to reach out to me, or all of the advisors on California Psychics can help you with connecting with loved ones, or help you with answering divination questions, or helping you just supporting you on your spiritual journey. So I encourage you to reach out to somebody if you want to take advantage of this period of time right now, because the depth of what you're going to feel is more likely to be a success and more likely to connect you with that loved one or get those divination answers you've been seeking this time of year. So that is my speech about Samhain and the thinning of the veil, and ways that you can incorporate this energy into your life right now. And you are welcome to ask any questions about this. I think Carson might have some questions, but stay tuned, because I know that this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the lesson, but then we're going to get into some fun stuff, because I have my Halloween tarot deck. It's this time of year, so we're going to do some readings in just a few minutes with my Halloween tarot deck after we get past the lesson portion of this.
Well, first of all, Marin, I do want to just say like that was a fantastic lesson. We've had a lot of comments already coming in that this is
Good,
just a very
good.
insightful and that people were resonating with it. I was also in the background trying to answer some questions for you as well, so I didn't have to kind of interrupt your flow.
Thank
But
you.
also, you just kind of naturally went in and answered these questions that some people had already. I
Good.
did just have a couple of ones that were just a little specific. I saw one here from Daniel that I'll get to in just a moment, Daniel. And Donna, who she believes her spirit Steve is now attached to a necklace that she wants to know, because you did mention pendulums. And she wants to know if she can use a necklace kind of as a pendulum, because she feels that one of her spirit guides is kind of attached to this necklace. So almost as a way to kind of help her figure out messages from beyond.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, I've seen it both ways. I've seen people actually purchase a pendulum and later add a long chain and turn it into a necklace, or the other way around, where it was a necklace that people have taken off and used as a pendulum. So, absolutely. Yeah, great idea.
All right, there you go, Donna. I saw a question there for Raven. We'll get to that in just a second. And Daniel had a question. Does the thinning of the veil just kind of affect energy in a more positive or negative way, or is it just kind of a strengthening of a certain type of energy, Marin?
Wow, I appreciate that insightfulness in your question. I would describe it more as, we could be completely oblivious to this energy. Where I gave the example of Christmas and December, because there's so many symbols associated with that. We have the image of Santa Claus. We've got, and I'm using specifically Christmas. I know there's a lot of holidays this time of year in December, but if we look at Christmas from the point of lights, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus, stockings, like there's all these visual symbols. Well, with Halloween, Samhain, we have pumpkins, we've got a lot of these symbols, but it's the feeling that so many people could just walk through the world with a blindfold on and not live in that sixth sense energy. And so, yeah, with your five senses, you're going to see things, you're going to taste that. that apple cider. You're going to have these sensory experiences, but likely miss the most important sensory experience, which is that sixth sense, which is that feeling of energy and that depth of feeling connecting to the other side. So I think, Daniel, to answer your question, like, you really could just be living this life. You could be an anti-Christmas person and be living this life going, nope, I don't want to feel the holiday spirit. I don't want to connect with this energy. I hate Santa Claus, and just totally shut down. So it's not a situation where you will necessarily take advantage of the best part about it unless you really consciously shift your energy. And that's why I gave some of these examples of exercises where, if you are new to this, if you have yet to experience mediumship work or divination work or that connectedness to the other side, what does that energy even feel like? This is the time of year where you're more likely to have a successful experience if you try to connect, and this is new for you in connecting with the other side. So I think that's kind of a longer answer to your question, that you could live through the next few days completely oblivious that it's any other day out of the year, unless you really want to intentionally connect and feel this energy. Oh,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Thank you, Daniel, for bringing forward that question. That was actually, yes, a very good explanation from Psychic Marin as well, just kind of delving into the thinning of the veil energy. So thank you. And now, Raven, we really want to thank you for your patience. This one's more related to Tarot, Marin. She's just saying this lesson overall is very cool to learn. She just started learning Tarot last week and got her first Tarot deck. Now, this is a
Oh,
common
yay.
question that we get, and you've answered commonly. But is it true that you have to be kind of drawn to the art of the deck or feel of that sort of deck whenever you first choose it?
I definitely feel like if there's an affinity towards the deck, if there's a few cards that really, really speak to you, like there are a couple cards within every tarot deck that I seem to identify with a little more strongly than the others. That would be the Star card or the High Priestess card. Those are some of my favorites in usually all decks across the board, because they're water signs and I identify a lot with that water energy. So I feel like as long as there's a few cards that really pull me in and has my interest, there's usually a little spark there. But I would say more so on the flip side, it's if there's a card that I am just so repelled by. I don't know if you remember this story, Carson, but I shared years and years and years and years ago. One of my first couple tarot decks, that I was so offended by the images of the devil and the death card. And I was very young. I was like 11, 12, and it was just scary. And I remember taking the cards out. This is so funny, but like hiding them in my sock drawer as if that's going to keep that energy away. And just like now trying to work with the deck without those two cards. And I always felt like I'm playing poker without the full deck. I energetically, I always felt like, but this isn't right, or this isn't the full deck, or can I get away with this? Can I do this? And it wasn't until several years later that, with the maturity, those images weren't as offensive. But I think that if there's imagery, maybe there's a picture that reminds you of like an ex-husband, and you see that, and the deck's tainted, I would be more likely to steer away from a deck that has imagery that really repels me. But as long as there's something that kind of captures me, maybe it's the back that's got pretty stars or something, usually you're drawn towards a deck. And my last little comment, since you are a newer student in learning, is that if you want a very beautiful artist deck, but it's a difficult tool to learn from, then I've encouraged people to learn side by side, where you get a very traditional Rider Waite Tarot deck that's a very traditional symbolism. And then anytime you draw a card, let's say you drew the Ace of Cups, that you draw the Ace of Cups for your art deck, and you draw the Ace of Cups for the Rider Waite deck, and you look at them side by side and compare. So you have the original, so to speak, symbolism, and it it just is a little bit of an easier learning tool. But those artist decks are beautiful, sometimes void of some of the symbolism that we really like to see as new students to the tarot. But I am just glad and happy to hear that you got a new deck and you are comfortably diving into the art of tarot. And I'm glad you're here joining us so you can learn a little bit more about it.
All right. Thank you. Yes, Raven. Oh, and also she just says, so it's funny that you say the star card because that was actually her first pull of the deck last night with a new deck. She is also a Cancer, but I think, well, anyways, water energy she is drawn to the most, of course, and she loves the arts of the deck that she has chosen. But one is a theme deck. So what she's doing, you just said is more traditional, a beginner deck with keywords. And just thank you so much for that detailed answer as well, Marin. And just, yes, thank you, Raven, for bringing forward those questions. We always love the opportunity to help people get started with their tarot deck. And Marin is literally there's no better teacher out there. We had a question earlier if you teach classes, Marin, and I was telling people that you used to host them like years ago, but we wanted to give you that same outlet because you are just such a wonderful teacher and your ways of explaining things are just unparalleled. So we love hosting these Tarot Thursdays and giving you the opportunity to help everybody just learn a little bit more about the art of tarot. Since you're just we only scratched the surface of your expertise. So
Yes.
um,
Go back through some of the old videos. We've got probably 2 years worth of like card by card by card content that we've gone over in some of the old Instagram files. So if you dig, you'll find us. But I'm glad you're here joining us and making it known that you value these videos, because that's just something that maybe Carson and I can keep in mind for the coming year, and maybe doing another individual lesson, going through each card again one of these months. That was fun.
it was. It gave us a great amount of, I guess, lessons to take away too.
Yeah.
It really was. It helped me too because obviously I was there for each one. So even I have my own quite a bit of expertise about the art of tarot too. So it's a great time, these live streams. But I
Can
feel
I
like this is
make a
go
quick
ahead.
little comment about that? The reason why it's so important that you learn, and I've used this expression before, that you learn the tarot by living it. So when you are drawing this card and you learn the meaning of the card and you associate that with a life experience, you're going to remember what this feels like. When this five of ghosts comes up, you're going to remember what this feels like. This would be a pentacles, five of pentacles. You'd know what this feels like, and you'd know how this energy sits in your life. And so by having that memory, you're now on autopilot and you remember what it is. Where if you are pulling up a card, stopping the process, looking it up in a book, what does this mean? You're gonna struggle endlessly because you're eliminating the entire natural intuitive process. So if you can first learn the meanings of the cards and kind of tuck that information under your hat, then that is your foundation, and then the good stuff begins. Then that intuitive feeling and connectivity with this memorization and the knowledge of what the card means, they come together, and now you're reading. Now you're actually experiencing a psychic tarot reading, where otherwise you're just robotically reading and trying to interpret the meaning of the card, and you're just never going to get beyond this mundane level and feel that spiritual connection. So that's why learning the meanings of the card is kind of an important foundation if you want to get beyond that into the intuitive aspect of tarot reading.
Very well put, Marin. We've been really detailed with our Tarot Thursday lessons. So if you are wanting to learn even more, I don't think, or we do have one set up. I don't think actually scheduled between you and I, Marin, but we'll figure out that after the live stream when our next Tarot Thursday lesson is. But there will be one coming in November. So y'all will have to tune in for our next one where we go even more into the art of the tarot and whether or not we keep it as a theme deck or want to go delve into a certain aspect like spreads or certain card pulls. But yes, we really want to thank everybody for bringing forward their questions today as well. But we are going to be switching over to general card pull questions now. So we are going to open the floodgates open for general questions to come through and answer these questions in the form of card pulls. So we do want to ask if these questions can be framed in the form of questions that can be answered through our card pulls because it is our Tarot Thursday lessons. General questions can be referred to our Monday live streams, and we will be having a mediumship focused live stream tomorrow, our Thinning of the Veil live stream at the peak of the Thinning of the Veil as well. So while we get those questions in the form of general card pulls, love card pulls, dealer's choice, etc., and with some extra context if y'all would like to insert that in with your question as well. Marin, I wanted to give you a quick shout or a very extended shout out because you've been doing some fantastic, I guess, been doing a fantastic job with your advice today, and I feel like that really only scratches the surface of the type of experience somebody gets when they get that one-on-one reading with you. It feels very personalized even already with a large live stream audience. So I can't imagine what it's like whenever people bring forward their questions to you in that one-on-one reading format on CaliforniaPsychics.com. Now you can connect with Psychic Marin here on CaliforniaPsychics.com in the California Psychics app through either phone call or text-based messages on there if you prefer. But Marin, can you please let everybody know when is the very next time you are going to be available for these one-on-one readings for those who are seeking connect with just you and wanting to get to know the answers to their questions, and I guess in a format that is best suited for them. And I do want to say one last thing because I didn't say it before. Marin is not just limited to tarot. We like to keep this as a themed live stream lesson because it's Tarot Thursday, but you can bring forward any sorts of questions to Marin. She's a wonderful timeline psychic as well. So that is my extended shout out to Marin because she's so awesome. And Marin, when is the next time you'll be online?
I will be on right after this live today. I'll be on for about 5 hours. I'll be on again tonight. I am going to take off on Halloween. Yeah. And then November 1st, this is just my own personal thing. November 1st is a day of silence for me. So maybe you might want to borrow that aspect of ritual and gratitude. November 1st for me is a day of silence where that is deep, deep work for me, regenerative work for me. So we've got Samhain, Halloween on the 31st, and then that New Year's Day, that energy for me is a day of meditation, intentions, setting the intentions for the coming year, ancestral work, altar work, setting up that altar for the loved ones. It's just a day of solitude and quiet. And when is the last time that you spent a day without talking? I mean, just observing, just stepping back and watching and processing and receiving instead of talk, 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 talk. So that's a day of silence, but I will be back on Sunday, ready to answer questions that remain from Halloween and loved ones and mediumship work. But as Carson said, I book appointments. You're welcome to reach out to me for something a little bit deeper than just tarot. The readings by phone are a lot deeper. This is fun. This is public. We're not going to get into things that are really, really, really deep and personal here or revealing people's personal identities and issues. But on the phone, especially around Halloween, when there's a lot of mediumship work, people are trying to connect with loved ones that have passed. There are lots of tears on the phone. There's lots of depth. And I think that it will surprise you because normally, if you were face to face, you might be self conscious. You might want to show that depth of emotion. But when you're on the phone in your living room, and there's nobody around to judge you. It's completely anonymous. I have no idea who you are. I'm not going to bump into you at the grocery store, see you at a PTA meeting next week. you can be yourself, and sometimes that ability for you to be so blunt and honest with yourself allows us to get even deeper than if we were face to face. So that's what I love about the phone, is it actually, in my experience of years and years and years doing both in person and by phone, readings are a lot deeper by phone because you're comfortable in your environment, and sometimes that gives us the ability to connect a little deeper.
That was very wonderfully put, Marin. Yes, it just really gives a highlight to why our readings work and why we've been in business for over 30 years. And with very top tier psychics like Marin here, who has been with us for, I think, oh yeah, over 10 years at this point.
Oh,
So
I'm at 18 now.
yes.
18 years.
So
Crazy. I love
I
it.
I know it's at this point we have these long tenured psychics because we love doing work with them. We love giving readings to our audience and helping them find the clarity that they need. So if you are wanting that one-on-one experience with a top tier psychic like Marin, you can click the link in the description of the live stream you're watching right now, and that will pull up Marin's profile where you can go ahead and connect with her on that one-on-one level. But we are going to be switching over to our card pull section of the live stream. So if you want a free preview of the kind of reading that you can get with Marin here, we are just going to be answering some tarot related questions, and she is not limited to just tarot on the phone. But we are going to go ahead and get started. We have one here from Susan. So she's going to ask for a dealer's choice question from you. She feels like Spirit is trying to tell her something, and she wants to know if the cards can reveal what.
Oh, I don't think you are mistaken on this one, Susan. This is the moon, and this is the Halloween tarot deck that I'm reading with. It's a little cartoony, but still just packed with as much power as a normal tarot deck, but the festivities of Halloween make it fun. So we're working with this deck today. This is the moon. And the moon energy is about intuition, going within. Everything that we've been talking about, this card represents that, but especially dream work. What we see in a normal moon card is this crustacean coming up from the water. In this card, we see this spirit animal. This is the cat that's kind of coming up out of the ground. The energy behind this is be aware, pay attention to what's coming up from below, what's coming up from behind you. What are some of the energies that are trying to weave and sneak into your life? But because it's the moon, it's often associated with nighttime and nocturnally. What is it we're dreaming? What dreams are going to be brought to you? What lessons are coming through your dreams? So I would use this as a indicator, and maybe rewatch this video if you need to hear it again. But we talked about dream work earlier, and this would be a perfect validation of time for dream work if you're trying to get in touch with that intuition, if you're trying to get these messages that spirit's trying to tell you. Now, what's unfortunate is I'm not getting as much of this message that you're asking. What your guides are saying is we want you to get the message. We want you to go in and for you to do the deeper work and for you to connect intuitively so you learn the process and you get the message. Sometimes spirits are tricky like that. Sometimes they give me the message to give you. Sometimes they want you to grow and evolve. And in this case, they're wanting you to grow and evolve, and this is a great way of doing it through dream work.
Amazing. Thank you, Susan, for bringing forward your question. I did see your comment. She's in the car at the moment, so she may not, or she'll probably go back and listen to this as well. It'll be uploaded right after we finish the live stream today, so you can go ahead and catch that lesson and any card pulls that Marin does in the next few minutes. Raven, thank you for your question earlier regarding just stuff with tarot as well and making it an interactive lesson. She now wants to request a general card pull from you, Psychic Marin. What does Spirit want for her to know, Raven? Maybe more towards a spiritual journey, she says in her comment.
So we've got a lot of very relative cards for this energy and theme that we have today. This is judgment. And the traditional judgment card has all of these beings that are coming up out of the caskets. There's the big archangel blowing the trumpet, and all these people are rising from the caskets and they are hearing the call. So this card is a message of pay attention, be aware, that there is some sort of spiritual message, but this is very similar to that energy that the moon card, but the moon's a little bit more about nighttime and dreaming and confronting shadow sides and darker sides or energies that we haven't really been able to work through. This card is about pay attention. Like, you want to be on full alert. You want to be paying attention to signs. You want to be listening for the call. And because the theme of this card is you will hear the call, it often does associate with there's an actual phone call, or in modern times there's a text message or an email that you've been waiting for. So there's some form of either communication that you're waiting for that you're going to receive. Maybe it's an indication that somebody's going to actually reach out and call you if you've been waiting for months for that X to reach back out. Sometimes this means an actual call, but more often it means you're going to hear a call of action. You're going to be pulled in a certain direction. You're going to be brought into this new spiritual path or spiritual journey. So this is a card that's validating you're in this sacred space right now. You're in this energetic time where you really are going to be pulled into a new life path, a new journey, a new relationship by hearing or being invited to participate in something. But there's always a sense of spirituality and growth beneath the surface with this card, because it is an archangel that's inviting you, that's beckoning you, which means this is going to evolve you spiritually and have some form of spiritual growth. So again, that's the judgment card.
Thank you, Raven, for bringing forward your question, and we really hope that that answer from Psychic Marin resonated with you too. Definitely let us know if it did in the chat. We'll make sure to let Psychic Marin know as well. And now our next question, I see some people from YouTube. So I saw one here from Daniel requesting a love card for him and Jennifer. Yes, just a love card.
Okay, Daniel, let's get this love card. Page of bats, and the bats are swords in this deck. And we've got this page of bats. Imagine as if there's this sword in this hands of the teenager, and it's kind of a little reckless. He maybe doesn't have full control of this sword. He's not a king yet. He's not fully mature and evolved. So this page energy is a little bit more youthful, fun, teenager, wild energy. And the swords are associated with the element air, and that is intellect and thought. And so you may be a little reckless in this approach to this relationship. You may be fun and a little wild and carefree, but there's no judgment in this situation. It's just an indication of this is what the essence of the energy between the two of you are. So sadly, bummer, like, does she look at you as if you're a little less mature, a little goofy, a little more youthful and young? Or sometimes that sharpness of the sword could indicate a sharpness of the tongue, or maybe you're a little direct or a little sharp, you're a little blunt or a little harsh at times. So be mindful of those energies. Just keep an eye on it, but it's all kind of a lighthearted, youthful feel. So I wouldn't take this too critically or too much to heart, but enjoy this more fun, youthful energy that she is feeling or perceiving in you within this relationship.
Fantastic. Thank you, Daniel, for bringing forward your question and for attending today's Tarot Thursday as well. Next card pull for you, Psychic Marin, is from Carrie, who is requesting a love card regarding her and Jay.
Okay. Two of pumpkins. So this is pumpkins are pentacles, which are coins, discs that's associated with the element of earth. And in this card, we've got the two of pumpkins, and this person is basically juggling. There's a decision to be made. And often, because those coins, or in this case, pumpkins, are associated with earth and money, there could be a decision that's a financial decision. Maybe you've got to pay a certain bill and you've got to juggle those bills or figure out from a monetary decision. Maybe there's a career opportunity that you're juggling. Whoopsie daisy. It could be a relationship, but usually we would see more of a cups. Usually love cards or really deep romantic relationship matters come through with cups. This is more of a pentacle card. So it makes me question within your ask that you ask for a love card. Within your love card, I'm teaching you a little trick here. This is how we layer concepts. When somebody's saying I want a love card, and I get more of a money card or more of an earth element card, that's not really lovey-dovey. So how does this answer the person's question? Well, they're wanting a love card, but within the context of the love and the relationship, is there an issue concerning money? Is there an issue concerning that sense of materialism and stability or financial support? Are you struggling to maybe provide for this partner or this relationship because money's tight, and maybe you aren't in a position to financially just provide? So in the context of your love question, we've got some stability concerns or some financial concerns that we've got to look at and how that's shaping the relationship. So there's a little bit of a juggling going on right now for the two of you.
All right. Thank you, Carrie, for bringing forward that question. Daniel also saying thank you for his response that he received from you, Marin.
Yeah.
And now our question for T, who is requesting a card for, does any message from, or does Spirit have a message for T? So a Spirit card pull. Her aunt's funeral was also today. So if that also impacts just kind of the message that she has from Spirit today as well.
Okay, hold on one second. Aunt, I'm just trying to get her. That's um, the very first impression that I got was a smooth transition, or I feel a sense of peace. So I do think that that's important to pass on to you. I am the type of reader that will be very direct and blunt, maybe not to an extent on a public platform like this, but I will let you know if there's a soul that's stuck or struggling. And so fortunately in your case, I don't get that, but I am tearing up right now as I'm talking to you. And so there's this feeling of immense gratitude paired with a feeling of release. So I think that from an intuitive perspective, feeling and seeing what I'm seeing, you should be very pleased and very grateful with the experience that your aunt has had, because I do get appreciation and blessings and feeling of ascension. So this is good. Um, the card that was chosen is the two of bats, and this is two of swords, which normally that image in the Rider Waite deck, we've got the two of swords where she is blindfolded and she's guarded with two swords, which means it's just too scary or painful to remove those guards and remove that blindfold and remove that protection. So in this image, we've got the two of bats, two of swords, where she's very, very guarded and she's afraid to remove that blindfold and afraid to take away that protective wall. And so this is you. And I don't feel like this is necessarily attached to your aunt and her passing or anything really directly related to her. It feels more like this is you in a state of, gosh, I just am trying to introvert, which is that energy that is this time of year. You, if you're feeling that way, this is that time of year, but your guides are saying maybe we could just kind of start to take off the blindfold. Maybe we can remove one wall and then eventually the other wall and start to come up. So this is a card that's very validating that you are in this introverted, guarded state right now, and that may be necessary as you're healing, but eventually that's going to be an energy you want to work through to get you unblocked.
All right. And now, oh, thank you, T, for bringing forward that question. We really hope that that answer from Psychic Marin resonated with you too. And now moving on to our next question, I see one here from Papo Castro on YouTube, who is requesting a love card, please. No names, but just wanting to see the direction where them and their crush will start to talk more. So I guess yes.
Okay, well, this is in lighthearted fun. This is the Fool card. And so you do not want to be the fool. I get the impression like, are you chasing after her? Is she not responding? Are you feeling embarrassed, awkward, foolish? Has it not really developed in the way that you were hoping? So the message in this really is that literal. It's just don't be a fool, don't be goofy, don't be so oblivious that you're about ready just to walk right off of this cliff, that you've got a guide there trying to warn you, but you're just all over the place, kind of scattered. So let's reel it in. Let's create a focus. Let's create a plan and pursue this relationship in a way that might be a little more successful for you and get you some brownie points where you're not seen as this juvenile fool that's kind of reckless or haphazard. Let's create that focus in the relationship. So I'm poking fun, but I don't mean to hurt your feelings or criticize you. This is just the essence of the card, as being a little young, little juvenile. So let's create some maturity and get this show on the road with the relationship.
Wonderful. Thank you, Papo Castro, for bringing forward that question. And we really hope that that card pull did resonate with you. Let us know if it did in the chat as well, too. And now our next card pull, I saw one here for Heather. We are winding down near towards the end of today's Tarot Thursday live stream, just letting everybody know. We will have time for just a few more questions. But actually, Marin, right before we get into Heather's question, can you please shout out when is the very next time you are going to be online and available on CaliforniaPsychics.com for those who want to get that one-on-one reading experience with you and a guaranteed answer to their questions?
I will be on in about 10 minutes. I will be on all afternoon and a little bit of time this evening. I will not be on Halloween or the 1st. So grab me now while you can. I will be back on Sunday, but I'm really excited to read for you guys today because it's some deep energy, some deep work in the next day. So I'd love to hear from you today.
And again, Marin is not limited to just tarot on CaliforniaPsychics.com. We do like to just have a themed event for Tarot Thursday, kind of rolls off the tongue. But if you are wanting to bring forward other questions, just know Marin is not limited to just tarot. So she can answer so many different questions for you whenever you get that call, CaliforniaPsychics.com. Thank you, Heather, for for your patience. She is wanting to request a love card from you, Psychic Marin. Heavier question: should she be staying with her husband?
I didn't catch that last little part. I just heard love card, and so this is a doozy. This is the 5 of Bats, and the 5 of Bats is known as the stranger in the night card. Normally, this person, instead of having all these little treat bags, has a bunch of knives in their hands. And this isn't like a joking matter, so I should be a little more serious, because even though these are fun cards, the message and the energy is pretty serious. This is not a good card. This is a card of betrayal. This is a card of somebody that is looking over their shoulder to see, am I getting caught? Am I being watched? Am I up to no good? Am I doing something that I have a guilty conscience about? So I have to look over my shoulder and watch my back to see, am I going to get caught? This is not a good energy of a marriage. This is never a card you want to be seen associated with a marriage, if you catch my drift. I don't want to break up any marriages and relationships today, but this is not an energy that I would take lightly. So there's some essence of betrayal or distrust. And I think that the fact that you're even here today, you're asking this question, you're ready to hear this information, I think that there's something that you are feeling and suspicious about that you need to pay attention to.
Wow, that was very insightful. And Heather, we really want to thank you for bringing forward that question. And we do hope that that card pull did resonate with you in some form. Now, moving on to some of our final card pull questions. I see one here from Marianne, who is requesting a general card for November, please.
Oh, Mary
And
Ann, thank
she
you.
did say, Heather does say that it did resonate 100%. So.
Sorry, but thank you. Mary Ann. Oh, Marion, this is a great one. This is the High Priestess. I mentioned earlier how much I'm fond of the High Priestess card in most decks. And you are the High Priestess. We go back many, many years. This High Priestess card is about being in this divine alignment. The High Priestess normally sits between a white and black pillar. This is why I'm wearing white and black today. We have the balance of positive and negative, this equal, this super deep feeling of balance and groundedness. That's what the black and white is. That's what the checkered tile and the stripes. It's very symbolic. We see it with the witches' striped leggings. So there is symbolism with that. The high priestess sits between that black and white pillar because she's that neutral ground, and she carries the Torah, which is spiritual law. And you are somebody that is a student of tarot and spirituality. Here's the little Torah that's in our hand. She's carrying that spiritual law around. So the advice I have for you during this time of year is to remember these roots and remember that you've got this in you, even though it might be a more difficult time of year for you. Marianne, personally, this is not a period for you to shy away from the depth of this energy and to actually remind yourself that I am this high priestess and I can benefit and work through the grief or the suffering or the difficulty this time of year to evolve spiritually. So let's not shy away from this energy that's right here for you, Marianne.
All right. T bringing forward a comment. You answered her question, just wanted to let you know that you nailed it and thank you with all her heart. She has been protecting her peace since her dad's passing and now her aunt. And what you said was exactly what she needed to hear. So just a thank you.
Thank you.
And if we could get just one, I know you have to log on in here just a few minutes. So if we could just get a very quick card pull for Stephanie here, a future card, please.
Sure. Stephanie, you've got the strength card, and this is very similar to the typical Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. We've got this person that is either prying or caressing the lion's mouth open, but the message behind this card is, in what form is your strength coming from? There's many different ways that we achieve this sense of strength. Are you forcing something? Are you manipulating a situation to get the desired outcome? Are you nurturing it and growing with it? But what is your strength? If you've been approaching a situation with the same mindset over and over and over again and it's not working, this card is basically saying, now's the time to take a different approach to things. So instead of being that bulldozer that just powers through life, maybe you want to be a little bit more hands off and start to look at different ways of navigating something. So this is about finding your power, your personal strength, doing the shadow work in the next couple days to feel that strength, to get you ready for the new year ahead. So this is a great card to kind of wrap up on as a power card for everybody watching, because this is that time of year right now where we can really grow spiritually as individuals, going within, carving out even a few hours or a day to really honor the energies around us that are supporting us and help us grow and evolve spiritually so we can be this strong version of ourselves.
Amazing. You're right. That was a wonderful card to end on. And now we have gone a little bit over our hour, and Psychic Marin is logging on onto CaliforniaPsychics.com in here just a few minutes, or so you can reach her on CaliforniaPsychics.com by clicking the link in the description of the live stream you're watching now or connecting on the California Psychics app. Marin, can you let everybody know your regular schedule next week? Because I know you said you'll be on today and on Sunday.
Yes. I will be on all afternoon today, little bit of hours this evening. I will be off on the 31st and 1st. I know, I'm sorry, but get me today while you can. And then I will be back Sunday and the remaining normal schedule. I usually work afternoons and evenings almost every day. So I'm there for you. Book an appointment if you don't want to wait in my queue. And I can't wait to read for you all today. It's going to be a great energy day.
Yes, and don't forget we have another live stream tomorrow as well. So tune into our mediumship focused live stream. It'll be a little bit like today where we have some lessons going on with Psychic Saba. But for any burning questions, direct them to Psychic Marin here. She'll sure to get right into the bottom of the answers that you need to hear. So thank you everybody for another Tarot
Thank
Thursday session.
you.
And until next time, bye-bye.